expressing my deep gratitude to Professor, who has been a great mentor to my academic career over the last 20 years or so. In the time when I spent my time as a faculty at IIT Kanpur. He is also not only my mentor, he is currently Research Council Chairman of Central Class and Ceramic Research Institute. It's one of the first 4 CSIR labs that was established in India in the post-independence period. And as Research Council Chairman, he has been a guiding force for CSIR-CGCRI as well. Okay, now coming to the my topic of today's presentation, I'll slowly go through some of the few slides. Perhaps I'll skip it because many speakers prior to me throughout the day have covered many of these aspects. Only thing I want to focus here, the 2010-2030, where we are currently located, India aspires to be a global leader in the field of science and technology. And interdisciplinary research, which is essentially done by breaking the silos of the boundaries of the individual disciplines, that has been emphasized in the original National Research Foundation policies, which the government has recently published. Now, coming to these particular areas in innovation performance, if you look at the different colored circles, which essentially represent the innovation leader, which is very dark one, and India actually falls not very dark green, but also that one shade below the dark green, essentially means that India is performing above expectations for the level of development that the country has witnessed over the last 1 decade or so. Now, coming to my own research field, biomedical, I just hope I'll just show you some of the success stories in the field of biomedical implants before going to our current institute, my current institute, CSIR-CGCRI. Now, in the field of biomedicals, in the total Indian context, almost like 45 PIs are working in the field of in the academia. There are also several of them are working in the national labs and so on. The Government of India has actually announced this policy in 2023 for the medical devices sector, where their policy essentially emphasized that access, affordability, quality, as well as innovation in the medical device sector. Now, if you look at the concept diagram of the translational research in India, this is my perspective. Like it has to go from laboratory scale development to more design and pilot scale manufacturing, go to post-manufacturing plant quality validation, and finally going to the public healthcare, digital healthcare, or personalized medicine. Now, several factors play an important role in each phase of the development process of the medical devices. And translational research, particularly in India, this demands intense collaboration among academic researchers, data scientists, and clinicians and companies. I just showed you some of the success stories from our own research group. This is the story of a data implant that is T2Gain, which has been marketed currently by Alpha Data Private Limited, that is based in Hyderabad. So if you look at this, when the implant is placed in a maxillofacial cavity, jaw cavity, there is some level of torque, and this torque is figured and the patient feels a lot of pain. So what we try to do, we try to innovate a new design concept where around the length of the implant screw there is a different thread design. And towards the end is a very deep thread with bone cutting active thread. Essentially, it allows us to place some of the very challenging sides the way we have shown it in this particular video. Now, these particular dental implants, we have started from design innovation to clinical studies. The entire end-to-end kind of translational cycles that we have accomplished in collaboration with 3 different hospitals in India. One is KGM in Lucknow, that is in North Ramaya University, that is in Bangalore, and also Dr. Institute of Medical Sciences, that is in Warta in Central India. More than 60 patients, 32 male and 28 men, were recruited in the pilot clinical studies or multi-center clinical studies in 3 different centers, and the pre-clinical studies also approved, is also conducted successfully at Institute of Medical Science and Technology. So this is what I just said. Now next 5 minutes I am going to explain to you our work on the degenerative bioelectronics, which is a much less explored area, and this particular area where we have done a lot of studies using electrical stimulation experiments. Essentially the fundamental question that we are trying to address here, how can guide stem cells through multiple lineage pathways using electrical stimulation or electroactive bioimages in a predictive manner. What we employ experiments to design stimulation protocols and also analytical models to assess biological system response. Now, if you look at the fundamental concept that we have validated through our in vitro studies, now you grow stem cells on an electroactive bioimager substrate, you give electrical stimulation, you can guide stem cells either through osteogenesis to bone cells, or through cardiomyogenesis to cardiac cells, or through neurogenesis to neural cells. In each time, we have essentially shown how the specific gene regulatory markers are being upregulated. And if you look at, we have done these experiments with different classes of substrates like elastically stiff substrate, elastically compliant substrate, and also we have done fundamental studies to understand what is the underlying science for this particular stem cell differentiation. This is where I have collaborated with Prof. Sharma, and we have one PhD student, and we published some few papers in the Biomaterials journal, which is a flagship journal in the field. Now, what are the key results that I would like to highlight here? Now, when you grow HMSCs, human mesenchymal stem cells, you give DC electrical field stimulation. You can grow HMSCs through neural light cells. At the same time, if you grow in a parallel to the first set of experiments, if you grow HMSCs and you employ and then stimulate it with fast electrical stimulation, then essentially you can transform them or you can differentiate to the cardiac type cells. The fundamental question is that why this differentiation is so much stimulation specific? The answer is there is some premature cell cycle arrest at the G0, G1 stage which triggers early differentiation process. We have done some analytical studies trying to understand what is the bioelectric stresses that generate in the intracellular region, that is inside the cell, outside the cell, extracellular region, that we have solved Boson-Boltzmann equation, and then also we have found out what the Maxwell stress tensor, what is the type and magnitude of the Maxwell stresses that are being generated when a cell essentially experiences this kind of stresses. Now, if you look at some of the magnitude of the stresses, this is in the micropascal. So, even if I apply around 250 volt per meter, the magnitude of the stresses is in the 10 to the minus 6 Newton per meter per micropascal. But that stress level we found is very much sufficient to trigger this kind of differentiation process in vitro. Taking this electrical stimulation further to in vivo animal studies, which I conducted at CTC, was a medical science and technology in Trivandrum, and there we have put these electrical stimulation devices, and then we have done in the diabetes study and the same titanium implants. And if you look at these titanium implants when they are being inserted into the bone defect, and then if we apply the electrical stimulation, we are getting bone implant contact length of 0.95 and bone volume to total volume 66%. And you can connect this gives you textbook-like images with the top that is cortical bone, and then bottom around the implants is the porous structure, that is the cancellous bone structure. Now, what are the emerging themes in the field of biomaterials and implants? It is what we call new approach methodologies in silico modeling. There is like multi-dynamic simulations and AI kind of studies, order on a chip and organoids. But all these emerging things are appearing, but there are also regulatory hurdles that these particular approaches have to go through. So essentially, this whole area or the entire area of organ on chip as well as the tissue engineering is based on the advanced manufacturing like biofabrication process, how you build the scaffold. And I will just show you examples that this is the three different types of scaffolds. Now, if you look at this, anyway, so this image is not coming. So this challenge is to buildability of the scaffolds with high shape fidelity. If I go back to this particular slide, when you see the scaffolds here, now how complex structures can be built, multiple layers along the thickness, along the height of the scaffolds, and what is the buildability of the scaffolds. Now what are the key challenges here for the translational research for patient care? You go from the bio development to complex tissue functionality, but main challenge comes in the scalability and clinical studies, because these are the materials which are not used currently by clinicians. So clinicians are used to more stainless steel implants or titanium implants and so on. So whenever these tissue engineered scaffolds and biofabricated scaffolds are given to clinicians, they will have initial hesitation because this is not like a predicate device. So therefore, regulatory compliance and ethical concerns need to be addressed before these scaffolds can be used further. Now, CSIR does not need any introduction in this particular crowd, but CGCRI, currently we have 9 R&D divisions, and I'll just show you some of the major research area or major themes that we want to pursue in the next 5 years and beyond towards Viksit Bharat. So, we have the core competence in traditional technological challenging applications of ceramics and glass, and it has 2 outreach centers, one in Puja and Ahmedabad. So this is the vision that I have said after I joined as director of the institute. It is the idea that I stands for inspiring, E stands for delivering to the nation, E stands for engaging with the key stakeholders, and A for the administration, which is regulatory, rationally regulated facilitation of the scientist R&D activities in the institute. Now what CSIR has done, there are ready to market technologies which are like DRDO 3 to 7. But what we are going to do towards the Viksit Bharat is the semiconductor quantum materials, video energy technologies, AI and ML mediated discovery of new ceramic glasses, medical devices, technology for strategic sectors, technology absorption of sensors, and also high entropy ceramics, and so on and so forth. I'm just going to show you some of the key highlights. This is one of the recent technology transfer that has taken place from CGCRI scientists. This is under the West Well mission this is the flagship event of the CSIR. These are glass form bricks which are used using glass waste and which has been supplied to Sunrise Ceramics in Morbi, Gujarat. So this is the emerging program of semiconductor materials. 2 materials we are targeting. One is the reaction one is silicon carbide and one is the aluminum metal thin substrate. And essentially we plan to work with cement that is in the Hyderabad as well as the Bhutanwala industries that is near Mumbai. Third one is that our fiber lasers, which again CGCR has a long competence, and then it has essentially co-developed this technology, helium fiber laser along with challenges, and which has been clinically tested, but now it is commercial. So this fiber laser program we have currently signed a JDA, the Joint Development Agreement with LNT precision systems, and where we aim to develop 2 kilowatt laser, and which is also linked to a National Center for Laser Innovation and Applications with a 10,000 classroom. We have 10,000 plus clean room facility, that is around 5,000 square foot clean room facility, and we have the set of facilities which will essentially allow us to develop India's ambitious mission of the direct energy weapon, where up to 10 kilowatts lasers are extremely needed. And our collaborating partner is DRDO as well as the Indian Institute of Science, their SENS department. So this is essentially the trajectory that we follow in developing the fiber laser by collaborating with different institutes, and finally we aspire to become the global leader in the ultra short and high energy pulse laser program. This is another flagship program. This is supported by the Beijing Institute of Electronics and Information Technologies, that is set up an innovation manufacturing system for sensors for industrial IoT. These are the array of sensors like displacement sensor, field sensor, strain sensor, and vibration sensors. And these kind of sensors that are currently being designed and developed at CSIR, what we call fiber vibrating sensor. And then we have also developed a national strategy paper. We are currently engaging with the startups based in West Bengal. That is one of the objectives of this particular center. Dr. Somi Kamal, Chairman DRDO, has recently unveiled and laid the foundation stone of this sensor building. Now coming to the last one, that's what we would like to aspire, that we would like to be a national hub of ceramics and glass of CSIR-CGCRI by connecting to the collaboration network through mission project and interdisciplinary research, strategic sectors like all the atomic energy, ISRO and so on. Then component like multinational corporates, MSME, and also testing and certification, that is very important. Finally, we are currently collaborating with Fraunhofer institutes in Dresden, IIT Dresden, and we have not yet started the formal collaboration, but we are going to soon start the formal collaboration and also professional network. Ultimately, if this particular ecosystem is very vibrant, it will certainly lead to more external cash flow. We are going to publish this particular book, A Kaleidoscope of Eras, CGCRI on the eve of the platinum jubilee, that is 75 years of innovations in glass and ceramics. So I personally believe that we have proposed here an idea that how the institute will grow in the next 25 years or so to fulfill Prime Minister Narendra Modi's dream of Viksit Bharat 2047. And finally, I would like to acknowledge my group research with IIT Bangalore, and also thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you so much.